Monday, and I just got off of work. We had to do inventory this morning, and I got here at like 5:45, I think. And so I've been up for quite a while, and I'm not used to that, so I'm pretty tired. But yes, it's 1 o'clock and I just got off, so we're gonna go home. Part of me wants to go to bed right away, but part of me also doesn't want to because that might screw me up later tonight, you know? Yeah, last night I did not finish that book. I really wanted to, but I honestly just did not feel like it. So we're gonna finish the book today. We're going to. And I want to finish it so bad because I'm ready to go on to another one, but I'm gonna go home and probably eat some lunch, and we'll get back to reading and probably do a little bit more homework too as well. So let's go. I'm so tired. Is Tuesday? Yes, Tuesday. I don't know why I was gonna say Wednesday or Thursday, but today's Tuesday, and luckily I have today off of work, which is really nice because then I can get some reading done. I can also do some homework as well because that is also important. If my parents are watching this, don't worry, I'm making sure to do my homework. I'm not just reading all the time. I was trying to decide between these two books which one I should read next this week because I finished The Memory of Running, and I've been in the middle, well, I'm not really even in the middle of this, but I've started this Anne Frank, Diary of Anne Frank, The Diary of a Young Girl, and I have been reading this on and off, and I kind of like read it just kind of whenever I want to, but I do want to finish this soon. But I do kind of want to start something new. So I decided to start this book. It's called The Peculiar, and I honestly don't know what this is about. It's definitely fantasy though. I found this from a free library that my town has by like the college campus. They have a bunch of books there that are from the college library, and they're just trying to get rid of them, I guess. So you can literally just go and grab whatever book you want and keep it. So this is one of the books that I grabbed because I thought it looked cool. I feel like it should be a pretty easy read. It doesn't look too complicated or hard to read, so hopefully I can get this one done fast, but hopefully I'll like it too. And then after I finish this one, I'm hoping by the end of this week I will finish this one. And then we'll have 3 books that I finished, which for me that's really good because sometimes I can only read 1 book a week.
Welcome to Starbucks. What can I get started for you?
Hi, can I get a grande iced white mocha, please? And can I get that with cold foam on top? And are you able to put the strawberry puree in there, cold foam?
Yeah, we can do that for you.
Okay,
Through the window.
thank you. That's an expensive drink. But yeah, that drink was like $9. That's crazy.
For you.
Thank you.
Have a good
You
one.
too. Okay, so even though it's not Valentine's Day yet, it's next week, I wanted to get this Valentine's Day kind of inspired drink from Starbucks. And it's so pretty and cute. I really like it. And it's basically just an iced white mocha with vanilla sweet cream cold foam. And you ask for strawberry puree to be blended into the cold foam so that it's pink. And so I just think that's so cute. This is gonna be my motivator to go straight home and do some homework, and then I'm hoping to get a little bit more reading done. I really like that new book that I started, The Peculiar. I really like it. So I do want to get that book finished soon just because I'm excited to see what happens in the book, and it's just a fun read. Oh yeah, that is super good. The only bad thing about it is that it's $8 and like 82 cents or something. Yeah, try this out if you want to. I definitely recommend it. It's super good. Hi everyone, so it is Wednesday today. No, why can't I ever remember what day it is? Sorry. Today is Thursday, my bad. I got off work not too long ago and I'm gonna get back to reading my book right now. This is The Peculiar, and I'm just gonna say this right now. I like this book a lot. I do really like this book. It's super fun and I love the fantasy, everything that it has that has to do with fantasy. There's lots of different magical things and creatures and just lots of like, I don't know, like, I don't even know how to describe it. I like the world building in this book and how it's set in England, like London, England, but yet it's not London, England. It's like a mythical type of London, and there's all these different kinds of characters that are like half human, half this creature or whatever. And basically, there's like kind of a mystery going on in here. And this character, he's trying to catch kind of like a killer of some sort. I don't know, I'm doing a really bad job of explaining this, but I'll try to do this better eventually. But anyways, I just really like this book and I'm excited to pick this up and read it. The very first book I read, which was The Memory of Running, I'll talk about that more later as well, but I did not like that book. I was ready for it to be over, and there are just some things in that book that I did not like. So this has been a really good change to actually like the book. Alright, hello everyone. So today is Monday and I have not filmed kind of an outro for this video yet. I didn't really record a whole lot towards the end of the week of my reading vlog or whatever, but I just wanted to give you a final update on everything that I read last week, and I did not make it to 3 books total, which is what my goal kind of was, but that's okay. I wanted to just read when I wanted to. I wanted this to be realistic. I didn't want to feel like I had to read just because I was filming a video. I wanted this to be a realistic, like, read with me, and I didn't want to make myself read if I didn't feel like it. These are the 2 books that I finished this week, as you saw, and I'm just gonna real quickly kind of explain my thoughts and whether I like the books or not. So yeah, I'm just gonna kind of do little book reviews here. I also posted on my Instagram, my book Instagram account that I have. It's called Kjo's Reads. I will put it on the screen somewhere here. I also posted some reviews, like my thoughts on these books as well, so if you want to go check that out, you definitely can. Okay, so this is the first book that I read this week, and this is called The Memory of Running by Ron McClarty. And I thrifted this book from a thrift store. So I literally got it for like 50 cents or $1 or something. And so yeah, since I did get this from a thrift store, I mean, you don't really know what you're gonna get with that, you know? So yeah, I kind of wasn't sure if I would like this because, you know, I just didn't know. So I'm gonna go ahead and read the synopsis, or the whatever you call it that they include here on the front, that kind of gives a little background of the story. So I'm gonna go ahead and read this just so you can kind of get a grasp of what this book is about, and then I'll kind of explain what I thought of it. Meet Smithson, or Smithy-eyed, an overweight, friendless, chain-smoking, 43-year-old drunk who works as a quality control inspector at a toy action figure factory in Rhode Island. By all accounts, especially Smithy's own, he's a loser. Then, within the span of 1 week, his beloved parents are killed in a car crash, and Smithy learns that his emotionally troubled, long-lost sister Bethany has turned up in a morgue in Los Angeles. Unmoored by the loss of his entire family, Smithy had always hoped Bethany might return. He rolls down the driveway of his parents' house on his old Riley bicycle into an epic journey that will take him clear across the country. As Smithy pedals across America, through New York City, St. Louis, Denver, and Phoenix, to name a few, he encounters humanity at its best and worst, and begins to remember an early life that too many beers have blotted out. The baseball games, the home-cooked meals, the soothing presence of his salt-of-the-earth parents, none of it could transform the dark truth of his sister's madness. There's a little bit more that it says, but it's not really that important. But that's the gist of what this book is about. So basically, this 43-year-old guy who's kind of, done with life. He's a drunk. He doesn't think very highly of himself. And, he's just not a very likable person. And, his parents die in this car crash right at the beginning of the book. And, of course, he's dealing with that. And so, I wanted to feel for him as the main character, because he is the main character, obviously. And, with his parents dying, and then he eventually finds out his sister has died shortly after this, all of his family is gone. It makes you want to feel sorry for the guy. But, I don't know, there were just parts of his personality that I did not really like. And, his personality got a little bit better the further you go into the book, but honestly, I didn't really care about him that much, even though he's the main character, and I did feel bad for him at moments whenever he would talk about his parents, or, his sister Bethany. She has a lot of mental issues, and honestly, that is the only reason why I kept reading this book, was because of Bethany. I cared way more about Bethany, his sister, than Smithson, whatever. So that's literally the only reason why I kept reading this, because I wanted to find out more about Bethany and what type of different mental health issues that she had. Maybe that's just because I'm a psych person, I don't know. But yeah, basically Bethany would have these episodes. They never really talk about exactly what illness she has, but she definitely had these episodes where she would start talking to herself, and she would hear a voice in her head tell her to do things, hurt herself and do all these things that are not normal. And so, yes, so sometimes she would be her normal Bethany self. Sometimes she would all of a sudden just switch over to this completely different person. And she would kind of go into these episodes where she would just run away from home. Smithy and his parents wouldn't know where she is, and they would spend days trying to look for her. And they would find her at just these random places. And they would have to bring her home, bring her to some type of mental hospital, and, try and figure out what is happening. So eventually she runs away one last time. And Smithy and his parents are looking for her, and they don't know where she is. And this was a time when Bethany was really doing well. Mentally, she hadn't run away for a long time. She was doing really good. She was taking her meds. And then all of a sudden, she just completely went backwards. And so Smithy never really finds out what happened to her until years later, when his parents suddenly die in this car wreck. And then he eventually finds out that his long-lost sister, who he didn't know what happened to, she has died as well. So each chapter, they're kind of One chapter is kind of like in the present, where Smithy is like his present self, you know, he's like 40 something years old. And then the next chapter, it'll go to a flashback of when he's younger, when Bethany's still there, when his parents are still alive. So with each chapter, you go from present tense to past tense, basically. Yeah, so he ends up, when he's older, present tense, after his parents have died, and he finds out his sister is in Los Angeles, and he wants to go to Los Angeles to visit her at this one funeral home. And he wants to see her one last time because it's been years. So he decides to ride his bike all the way from Rhode Island to Los Angeles, California. So it describes his journey across the country on his bike and the different people he meets and stuff like that. And then meanwhile, while he's doing this long trip, it's also like doing these flashback chapters where you basically learn more about his childhood and stuff. And yes, while there were times where I did enjoy like reading about his journey through the country on his bike and the people that he met, it kind of got repetitive. Like the people he met, like sometimes he would just meet these random strangers whenever he's riding his bike or he's camping out somewhere. He'll meet these random people, and these random people just start to talk about, like they just spill their whole lives out to him basically, and they're just complete strangers. And so like, I don't know, it kept doing that, and like for a while it got kind of boring because it was repetitive. The way that Smithy would describe the people he met, specifically women, the way he would describe them and talk about them, I won't completely get into details, but I don't know, the way he treats women in this book, I did not really like, and that's why I don't like him as a main character very much. He does get a little bit better, but I still don't like his personality really overall. Yeah, overall it's a good plot story, but it's not exactly the most like exciting book to read, and I was ready to be done with this book. I rated this a 3 stars out of 5 stars, which is just kind of like, you know. Yeah, so that's that book that I read. And yeah, there's A Memory of Running. That's my little review on it. Okay, and next I read this book. This is the second book I read this week. This is called The Peculiar, and it's by Stefan, I don't really know how you say that, Bachman. This book I liked much better than this book. I think it's just because this is fantasy and also is actually exciting for me to read, unlike this one. I'll go ahead and read the synopsis again of this, just so you can kind of get an idea of what this is about. Don't get yourself noticed, and you won't get yourself hanged. In the fairy slums of Bath, Bartholomew Kettle and his sister Hetty live by these words. Bartholomew and Hetty are changelings. I think that's how you say that. Or peculiars. And neither fairies nor humans want anything to do with them. One day, a mysterious lady in a plum-colored dress comes gliding down Old Crow Alley. Bartholomew watches her through his window. Who is she? What does she want? And when Bartholomew witnesses the lady whisking away in a whirling ring of feathers, the boy who lives across the alley, Bartholomew forgets the rules and gets himself noticed. First, he's noticed by the lady in plum herself, then by something darkly magical and mysterious, by Jack Box and the Raggedy Man, by the powerful Mr. Licorice, and by Arthur Jellyby, a young man trying to slip through the world unnoticed too, and who, against all odds, offers Bartholomew friendship and a way to belong. So, if you couldn't tell by the names of the characters, this is fantasy. And it's a little bit confusing at first because, you know, this is a whole fantasy world, and so you kind of have to read a little bit into it to kind of understand what everything is, like how the world got to be where it is, the characters, the different creatures that are in here. So there's basically 2 main characters in this book, which is Bartholomew, or Barthy is what they call him, and then Mr. Jellyby, which sounds like Mr. Jellybean. I don't know, but Mr. Jellyby. And so basically these 2 characters, Bartholomew is like this said, he's a peculiar, he's a changeling, which means he's half human, half fairy, if I'm understanding that right. Since he's a changeling, he's basically the lowest of the low in society in this world. And he kind of lives in this really beat down area in this city called Bath. And basically, he finds this mysterious lady. He sees her across the street, like this says. And he sees her, and he sees her go over to this other person's place, to this other house where this other peculiar lives. So he sees this mysterious lady go over to his friend's house, and she takes his friend away, and he doesn't know what happens to him. And so by seeing all this happen, Bartholomew accidentally gets himself noticed. And so he becomes the next target. And basically what's happening is there's this kind of villain guy, which is Mr. Licorice, and he controls this lady in the plum-colored dress. And he has instructed her to go and find him the perfect peculiar, or the perfect changeling person. And so she's on this quest to go find all these peculiar children, and basically she takes them and they go missing. No one knows what happens to them. So while he's trying to escape from this lady in plum from getting taken, his little sister Hetty, who's also a peculiar, she also gets taken. And she's actually the one that they want. So he's after his sister. He's trying to find her and rescue her from Mr. Licorice before he uses her for something, which I won't say because that's kind of a spoiler, but you have that plot going on. And then it goes to another main character, which is Mr. Jellyby. And so this book kind of does almost a similar thing to this book, where each chapter kind of switches back and forth, except this is like, it switches back and forth between characters instead of switching back and forth between like time periods. So Mr. Jellyby is like this really rich, like high class person. So you have someone who's really rich at the top of society, then you have Bartholomew, who's at the very bottom. And so Mr. Jellyby is this really rich kind of English guy who's part of the city council. He's very influential and stuff. And he basically finds out about this issue that's happening where these peculiars are getting taken and no one knows where they're going. And so he ends up finding out that one of the people on his like city council board or whatever, which is Mr. Licorice, he discovers that he is in charge of this whole thing. And Mr. Jellyby gets himself involved, and he tries to go against him and rescue these peculiar children from getting taken. So eventually Mr. Jellyby and Bartholomew meet each other. They rescue Hetty, which is Bartholomew's little sister, and they go against Mr. Licorice, which is like the villain. And yeah, so there's kind of a lot going on that probably made no sense, but it's really action-packed and there's lots of adventure aspects to this book. And so that's what I really liked, because there's always something exciting happening, and that's always a really good thing, because you know, you want a book to be interesting enough that you keep reading it. But there's a second book to this, and most of the same characters are in it. So I do want to read that because there's a cliffhanger at the end. So we'll see if I find that book and read it, because I did really enjoy this one a lot. I gave this one 4 stars out of 5 stars. The only reason why I didn't give it 5 stars was because when I think about this book in comparison to my other books that I've rated 5 stars, like 5 out of 5 stars, they were amazing. This book, while it was super good, I just don't think it is as good as like my other 5-star reads. But yeah, I did really like this one a lot. So I was excited to end the week on a book that I really liked. So those are the 2 books that I read this week. I hope you guys enjoyed this video. This is my first time ever doing like a reading vlog, book video type of thing. So let me know in the comments if you want me to do another one of these. I've been doing really good this year with reading which I'm proud of myself for. I want to keep on doing it because I am really enjoying it again. So yeah, that is the end of this video. If you guys liked it, make sure you click that like button and subscribe down below to see more videos from me. And I will see you guys next time in my next video. Bye!